The Innovators Network.
Welcome to the Killer Innovation Show, the longest continuously produced podcast in history. Each week, Phil McKinney brings you the insights and strategies to amplify your creativity and innovation skills. Here's your host, Phil McKinney.
Welcome to this week's Killer Innovations. Today's topic is one that I've been noodling on for a little bit. The question is are you an innovator or are you an imitator? Now, I am going to argue that we are all both at some stage. We are both innovators and imitators. Imitators sometimes can be the inspiration. Early in our career, we may imitate in order to learn how somebody does something. But ultimately, as innovators, it's about coming up with that original idea, that original spark, that thing that leads into an innovation that's going to change the world. This is what we're going to talk about today, is this challenge and kind of the yin and yang of being an innovator and an imitator. And are you one, both, more of one, less of another? It's an interesting look at ourselves, and it will help us understand how to be a better innovator and how to come up with those better ideas throughout our careers. So without further ado, but before we jump in, got that favor to ask: subscribe, so that way you hear about the latest episodes as they come out. Follow us on social media and share this content. So let's jump in to this week's episode.
This episode is sponsored by Zoom. With Zoom, you can streamline your communication, collaboration, and creativity all in one place. Zoom is the market-leading platform that provides video meetings, voice, webinars, and chat across desktops, phones, tablets, and conference room systems. To learn more about Zoom and sign up for your free account, visit killerinnovations.com/Zoom.
In an age where the latest and greatest technology is just a click away, it's easy to become an imitator. We see something new and we want it, without considering whether we really need it. We buy into the hype without stopping to think about the implications of our purchase. And before we know it, our homes are cluttered with gadgets and devices that we never use and we don't really need. But there's another side of this story. There are people who see the world around them and find ways to improve on what they see. They are innovators, always looking for new ways to solve old problems, to make things faster, easier, more efficient. Trends or popular opinion do not sway them. Instead, they rely on their own intuition and creativity to drive their innovation. What is the difference between an innovator and an imitator? There's a big difference between them. Innovators are people who see the world around them and find ways to improve on what they see. They come up with new ideas and solutions to old problems. Imitators simply follow the trends and popular opinions of the day. They're not as creative, they're not as intuitive as others. Instead, they rely on others to tell them what to do. Innovation is key to progress. It is the innovators who come up with new technologies, new products, and new ways of doing things. Without innovators, we would still be living in the dark ages. Imitation may be the sincerest form of flattery, but it will never lead to progress. If we all simply follow the trends, we would never make any real progress or advancements as a society. How can you tell if you are more of an innovator or an imitator yourself? The truth is, everyone is a mix of both. We are both imitators and imitators. We have all of our moments of creativity and are moments of innovation. But some people are more inclined to be innovators, while others are more inclined to be imitators. So, how can you tell if you're more of an innovator or an imitator? The best way to figure this out is to look at the different areas of your own life. Are you more creative and intuitive in your professional life? Or are you more likely to follow the lead of your boss? Are you more adventurous and daring in your personal life? Or do you prefer to stick to kind of the status quo? Personally, I built my career around innovation and focused it on my professional life. For those that know me, my personal life is very uncreative, very traditional. I am not an innovator in my personal life, which surprises people because of my high profile innovation work. It's not that I can't be creative in my personal life, it's just that I don't have the same focus on innovation. Do you have to be an innovator in all areas of your life to be successful? No, you don't. And in fact, in some cases, you don't want to, or you don't have a way to do that effectively. And so, therefore, your ability to be creative or to be successful, you can be both an innovator or an imitator and merge those together both professionally and personally. It really all depends on what you want to achieve in life. Understanding whether you are more of an innovator or an imitator can help you become, well, a more well-rounded person. It can help you better understand your own strengths and your own weaknesses. And that is important, is understanding and having a complete view of yourself. So what are some examples of famous innovators and imitators throughout history? Innovation and imitation are two important aspects of success in any field. It doesn't matter whether it's technology, science, or whatever. Both of these approaches have their advantages and disadvantages, and both can lead to success. Famous innovators throughout history include Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, and Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone. These men were able to change the world with their inventions, and they opened up new possibilities for everyone. They were innovators because they came up with new ideas and put in the hard work to make them a reality. They've also been many famous imitators throughout history. One example is Johannes Gutenberg, who invented the printing press. He was not the first person to come up with the idea of printing books, but he was able to improve the process and make it more efficient. This made it possible for books to be printed on a large scale, which helped spread knowledge around the world. Another famous imitator is Leonardo da Vinci, who was an expert painter, sculptor, and architect. He copied the work of other artists and improved upon it, making his paintings and sculptures some of the most famous in history. He was able to learn from others and become one of the most accomplished artists of all time. Both innovators and imitators have had a major impact on our society. Innovators have changed the way we live our lives, while imitators have helped spread the knowledge around the world. Neither approach is better than the other. Both contribute to progress. What would the world be different if there were more innovators than imitators? The world would be a very different place if we had more innovators. If there was more innovators, we would see a lot more creativity and progress. Innovation drives change. Without it, the world would be stuck in a rut. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but it can also hold us back on progress. When everybody is copying each other, there's no incentive to come up with new ideas. This can lead to stagnation rather than growth. Imitators may be happy with the status quo, but innovators are always looking for ways to improve things. The world needs both innovators and imitators, but we need more innovators if we want to see real progress. We need people who are willing to take risks. They need to apply box thinking, thinking outside the box. We need people who are not afraid to challenge the status quo and come up with new ideas. We are a society of imitators, though. In today's society, it is easy to be an imitator. With the internet at our fingertips, all it takes is a quick Google search to find out what others are doing and how they're doing it. This has led to a society of people who are quick to imitate others without putting in the time and effort to come up with their own ideas. One example of this is the way that we consume media. We're quick to watch the latest movie or TV show that is popular without taking the time to see if there maybe are better options out there. We also tend to follow the latest trends without taking the time to ask ourselves if they are right for us. This can be seen in the way we dress, the way we eat, and even the way we spend our free time. Another example of this is the way we do business. We're quick to adopt new technologies and new business methods without taking the time to see if they will actually work for us. We tend to copy the business models of others without putting in the time and effort to come up with our own ideas. This can be seen in the number of businesses that are started every day that are just copies of what others are doing, many of which will fail within their first year. The bottom line is that in today's society, we are too quick to imitate others. We need to take the time to come up with our own ideas and put in the effort to make them work. So what does this all mean? Imitation may be easy, but being an imitator or being an innovator is not easy. It takes hard work and dedication to come up with new ideas and solutions. Innovators are the ones who change the world, and they are the ones we should be looking up to. So why should you be an innovator? First, innovation is essential for growth. If you want your business to thrive, you need to be constantly coming up with new ideas and new solutions. Second, innovation is necessary for progress. Without innovators, our world would be a far less advanced place. So how is it you can become an innovator? First step is to start thinking for yourself. Don't just imitate what others are doing. Come up with your own ideas, your own solutions. The second step is to be creative. Allow yourself to be open to new possibilities and think outside the box. The third step is to be persistent. Don't give up on your ideas. See them through until the end. And finally, the fourth step is to be passionate. Be passionate about your work and about changing the world for the better. Innovation and imitation are two sides of the same coin. They both have their place in the world. Just as a coin has two sides, so too does innovation have its imitators and vice versa. As an innovator, you should be proud of your work, knowing that you are adding value to the world. And as an imitator, you should be humble, knowing that you are building on the work of others. At the end of the day, both innovators and imitators are necessary for progress. So which one are you? So which are you? Are you more of an innovator or more of an imitator? As I said in the main segment, it's not like we're all one or the other. We are a mix. In my case, I'm more of an innovator at work, and I kind of coast and do the imitation in my personal private life. In some cases, even in the innovation, early in my career, you can look back on some of my projects and you would say, oh, it's like this, but maybe some minor improvement. And that is fine. So don't think about that, oh, if you're an innovator, you've got to be innovation all the time. You can be an innovator and an imitator, but it's important to know the difference. And so hopefully in today's episode, this equips you with being able to think about the work you're doing and then identify what role are you playing. Are you the innovator or are you the imitator? In past shows, I've talked about Imitation's fine, but also acknowledging where you're getting that inspiration, who you're imitating, who you're following, and acknowledging them and giving them credit is warranted. And as ethical innovators, when you do imitate, give the credit. Let people know who you're following, whose inspiration led you to an idea. That is just what we do as ethical innovators. So, with that, thank you again for your time out of your busy schedule. Hopefully you're enjoying this. We've been recording these last few shows in a little bit of a different format, in a different location, and trying out some different ways of getting content out to you. If you're interested in more shows, more content around innovation, go over and check out theinnovators.network. Theinnovators.network. You got to spell out the whole word network. 10, the Innovators Network, is a collection of journalists, analysts, subject matter experts, publishing articles all around innovation. It's what we refer to as innovation journalism, telling the whole story about innovation. This podcast is on it. We're preparing to distribute more and more podcasts while actually working with leaders in different fields of healthcare and technology all around innovation to actually launch new podcasts that you might find interesting. So hop on over theinnovators.network and check it out, and then find new podcasts, find new shows, read new content, and you can subscribe to a newsletter there that will give you a summary of all of the new articles that are coming out on a regular basis over there. So check that out. You'll find great content constantly being posted over there. Again, thank you for the time in your busy schedule. I really do appreciate it. Give us some feedback on this content, or if there's topics, questions that you would like to have answered, we'll do a future show and answer your questions that you send in. You can post those over at killerinnovations.com, or you can just drop them into an email to me, phil@killerinnovations.com. And with that, have a great week. Work on that idea. Take your idea, create that innovation, and go and change the world. Bye-bye.
Podcasting nonstop since 2005, this has been the Killer Innovation Show on the Innovators Network.
This show is distributed by the Innovators Network. For more information and other great shows and content, visit theinnovators.network.